Hello, here's Pitkin Yard, or my version of Pitkin Yard. Let's turn on the track lights. It's a very big yard, and today we're going to be running R40 Slant Consist train in Customia. It's the first official Customia train. We have our A and C trains here. We have two CQ312s, 8-car CQ312 consists on the A, and an R46C and an R40 Slant C. So without further ado, let us begin. We have our R40 Slant C train over here. Let's go inside. Our airplane window. There's our interior. I think that is a good view. This is our left interior. Let me just get a quick image. Slideshow. Video capture. This one? Oh, okay. Because I gotta get something real quick. Alright. I have it. Ooh. There we go. Okay, let's take this train out of the yard here. Running main car 4477. Now, I did go a little higher than the actual fleet range of the R40 Slants because my R40 Slants, the numbers for the slants actually got occupied by the R38. So I have a lot of R38s in my system, more than I actually should have, that are numbered from 3950 to 4401. And that pretty much left the upper 45 to 4400 series ranges for the R40 slants. So I had to number them between 4400 to 4590. I don't think that my switches are properly aligned. Oh! There we go. Okay, they are properly aligned. Fantastic. Let us proceed. Leaving Pitkin Yard and going into the underground meets. This is Euclid Avenue. Transfers available to the A and T trains. This is a Manhattan-bound C local train. The next stop will be Shepherd Avenue. Step all the way in, stand clear. This is Shepherd Avenue. This is a Manhattan-bound C local train. The next stop will be Van Slycken Avenue. Van Slycken Avenue will be next. Step all the way and stand clear. This is Van Slycken Avenue. This is a Manhattan-bound C local train. The next stop will be Liberty Avenue. Step all the way in. Stand clear of the closing doors, please. This is Liberty Avenue. This is a Manhattan-bound C local train. Broadway Junction is next. Step all the way in, stand clear. This is Broadway Junction. Transfers available to the J, JFK Express, and K trains. This is a Manhattan-bound C local train. The next stop is unnamed. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors, please. That was almost an overshoot. This is a Manhattan-bound C local train. Rockaway Avenue will be next. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors, please. This is Rockaway Avenue, ladies and gentlemen. We will be taking a quick break here. This is a Manhattan-bound C local train. Ralph Avenue will be next. Ladies and gentlemen, we are being held momentarily by the train's dispatcher. We apologize for any inconvenience. Enjoy the R42 across the platform. Oh, it's at the next station. It'll be at Ralph. Ralph Avenue will be next. Step all the way and stand clear. This is Ralph Avenue. Here's our R42. It's running on the A local. Well, the A is local in Customia, so that makes sense. This is a Manhattan-bound C local train. Next stop will be Euclid Avenue. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors. This is Euclid Avenue. Transfers available to the shuttle train upstairs. This is a Manhattan-bound C local train. The next stop on this train will be Chauncey Street. Step all the way and stand clear of the closing doors, please. There's the shuttle upstairs. Euclid Avenue shuttle. Here are the tracks for the Euclid Avenue shuttle. They have not yet been signaled, as you can see. There's our train, 10-car C train downstairs. Length of platform. And here are our shuttle trains in layout. R38 and R30. R27, R38. Cars. 4369. Medium. Wyatt? No! It was supposed to be like this. Goodness. Pretend you didn't see that. And then I exaggerated the slope of this station. Stand clear. Chauncey's next. Wait. That would make a great shot. Let me get there. Let us proceed. Try to be out the way of the train. This view will do. going up a very sloped hill. That's why you hear all that buckling. This is Chauncey Street. Transfers available to the Chauncey Street shuttle upstairs. We pretty much have all greens ahead. This is a Manhattan-bound C local train. The next stop on this train will be Kingston Throop Avenue. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors, please. There's our R40 Slant chilling at Chauncey, which is not actually a stop on the Fulton Street line, so that's almost like a Customian edition. We back up a little bit. I want to get a cool front shot of this train at Chauncey. And let's show you the Chauncey Street shuttle. It ends right here. That's the terminal station, Chauncey Street and Fulton Street. I haven't added the buffers yet. I don't know which buffers I want to add. It goes from one track to a two-track terminal. It's a one-track shuttle. We have a little gate here, gatekeeping. We have a little checkered flag buffer. And we have the one track leading up to this area. Like, it's gonna be here. Euclid Avenue. This part hasn't been connected yet. I don't know where that's gonna go. Before I venture too far off of the map, let's get back. Because it is supposed to go to Chauncey Street on the J and Z. Stand clear. Also, fun fact, on a few of the stations between Utica Avenue and Nostrand Avenue, I left the 8-car markers intact to remind people that in Customia, the C train did used to use 8 cars until I ruled that it made no sense. I'm like, why is the C using 8 cars when it can use 10? And the MTA is coming to their senses on this issue as well, giving the C train 10-car R211As. This is Kingston Throop Avenues. This is a Manhattan-bound C local train. The next stop on this train will be Nostrand Avenue. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors, please. Now, I forgot to put a track mark at this station, sadly. I think I undershot a little bit. Oh, that's the 8-car marker there. Hold on. Yep, I definitely undershot. That's the 8-car marker. However, it's made to an R160 standard, so I could still stop at the 8-car marker and still be fully in the station if I use a SME. If I use an R160, that would not be the case. However, the R160s have quicker brakes anyway. This is the engine spec that Zach Transit refused to use and that I always kid him about. This is Nostrand Avenue. Transfers available to the N and Q trains upstairs. This is a Manhattan-bound C local train. The next stop on this train will be Franklin Avenue. Step all the way and stand clear of the closing doors, please. Here's the N&Q trains that I have, or in my world. It used to be the F and N trains, but then I changed it to the N&Q trains because it just made more sense. The N&Q are pretty much 100% outside in my world. Here they are. Oh wait, this is the F and N because I forgot to change over the signage. Let's see. Hold on. There we go. That's the F and N. That should do. That's why you hear all that SME idling. That's from the R32 and R38. 38 is somewhere in the 4300s because aforementioned, I numbered the R38s differently in this world. Stand clear of the closing doors, please. This is Franklin Avenue. This is a Manhattan-bound C local train. Clinton, Washington Avenues will be next. Step all the way in, stand clear. This is Clinton, Washington Avenues. Oh yeah, I think that unnamed station which I passed by was actually Fulton Street. The G and L trains were upstairs for that one. This is a Manhattan-bound C local train. The next stop will be Lafayette Avenue. Step all the way in, stand clear. I'll show you the way I did Clinton, Washington. I did a lot like 116th Street on the A, B, C, and D trains, but only the B and C stopped there. The A and D bypassed that station. But the design is very similar. Stand clear. fix that 35 mile per hour speed limit. It's useless. I don't even know why it's there. This is Lafayette Avenue. Ooh, a little overshoot. Can open the door. This is a Manhattan-bound C local train. Schermerhorn Street is next, stand clear. This is Schermerhorn Street. Transfers available to the A, T, R, and M trains. Or if you want them in order, the A, M, R, and T trains. This is a Manhattan-bound C local train. The next stop on this train will be J Street Metro Tech. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors, please. Also, this is your last chance to transfer to the M. It's over here. That's the M for you. 10-car platform in case I want to terminate R trains. Stand clear of the closing doors, please. This is J Street Metro Tech. Last chance to transfer to the R train across the platform and the T train upstairs. There's a T upstairs. This platform here. There's us on the lower platform. This is a Manhattan-bound C local train. High Street will be next. Step all the way in, stand clear. Yeah, we haven't flipped the signal yet. As you can see, we are on the lower level of the complex. Oh, that's cool seeing the slant view like that, but I need to make more space so I can actually view the station from both levels. Stand clear of the closing doors, please. Now that was some cool signal work. This is High Street, last stop in Brooklyn. This is where the glitch zone begins. Alright, we get a good angle. I like that angle. Yep. Snap that real quick. Yep, there we go. And now we gotta open the doors. This is a Manhattan-bound C local train. Next stop will be something. Maybe Fulton Street? I don't know. Step all the way in, stand clear. Hold on, where's the rest of the tunnel? It's not loading? Well, I guess you could just look at this 10-car slant for now. And while we wait for the darn tunnel to load, I don't get why this is a problem. going so fast that the tunnel ain't even loading no more. This is Fulton Street. This is a Bronx-bound C local train. The next stop is, I don't know. Step all the way in Stankley. Let's wait for the stations to load again. Oh yeah, transfers available to the 8. Now we gotta wait for this one to load. I suspect that there is a timer ahead of us. I'm not entirely sure. Look at this. This is a disaster. This is a mess. Look. In the meantime, let's gaze upon the World Trade Center that I created. It's just a bunch of boxes, really. Bunch of boxes with stacked floors. Hope that the scenery has loaded by now, and it hasn't. So we will continue as though it has. There we go. There's our station. Has the IND spec to it. This is a Bronx-bound C local train. The next stop will be World Trade Center. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors, please. This is World Trade Center. Transfers available to the E train. This is a Bronx-bound C local train. The next stop on this train will be Canal Street. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors, please. I need to find a better signal because I'm using the one that you see here for now. I don't think it's the best signal that I could be using. Alright. This is Canal Street. Transfers available to the A and E trains. This is a C local train. We will be running on the local track. An R160 on the other platform. This is a Bronx-bound C local train. The next stop on this train will be Bleecker Street. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors, please. Stand clear of the closing doors, please. A transfer may or may not have been available to the W train at the station we just passed, Canal Street. This is Bleecker Street. Transfer is available to the B, D, and E trains. This is a Bronx-bound C local train. The next stop on this train will be Chambers Street. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors, please. Yes, my Chambers Street is located elsewhere from the real-life Chambers Street. This is Chambers Street. The station is not fully loaded. Transfers available to the W train. Wow, this is funny. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, the L train, not the W. Transfers available to the L train, which also has not loaded. We're running on what would be called Central Avenue, and this would be, oh, there we go. Here's the station, Chambers Street. It's akin to Dyckman Street. This is Chambers Street. Transfers available to the L train. This is a Bronx-bound C local train. First Street is next. Stand clear. There's the L train downstairs. Seems to be using some R30s at the moment. Wow, the scenery still is not loading. We're just driving on air at this point. This is First Street. Transfers available to the 1 train. Trust me, guys, there's a station here. Take my word for it. This is a Bronx-bound C local train. The next stop on this train will be 6th Street. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors, please. This is 6th Street. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be taking a quick load break at 6th Street to allow the map to catch up to where we are. This is 6th Street, ladies and gentlemen. We will be taking a 2 to 3 minute load break to allow the rest of the map to catch up. We didn't even see 1st Street. That's crazy. Okay, it looks like the map wants to load now. That means I can show you 1st Street, which we just passed. You see, all this is like almost open tunnel. There's a couple switches here, so if you desperately needed to terminate a train, theoretically you could do so. This was 1st Street, the station we just passed by. Here's an R68E train, which we commonly use as part of our fleet. Here's 1st Street on the 1 train, 1st Street, 8th Avenue, something like that. The 1 local train stops here. I'm signaling the 1 train, but I haven't finished yet. Now the N train is for another route, the Nostrand Avenue line, which you saw before, but I didn't finish placing the trains yet, so they're just chilling over here for now. 5616. Here's our R40 Slant, just chilling at 6th Street. Alright, 14th Street will be next. Step all the way in, stand clear. This is 14th Street. Transfers available to the A and E trains. Not the L train, because the L was at Chambers. So I moved things around. Here we have an R68E train on the express track. Very interesting. This is a Bronx-bound C local train. The next stop on this train will be 23rd Street. Step all the way in. Stand clear of the closing doors, please. This is 23rd Street. This is a Bronx-bound C local train. The next stop will be 28th Street. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors. We have a CQ312 across the platform. Stand clear. Now, that CQ312 is intended to be part of the second system. I just haven't broken it up into its trains yet. There's 20 CQ312 trains, 6 car sets are allotted for the second system, with 4 to 5 of them being loaned to the KTA4 Light, which is part of the first system. This is 28th Street. There's an R38E train over there. I think I use the same station design as 6th Street. This is a Bronx-bound C local train. The next stop on this train will be 34th Street, Penn Station. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors, please. I like how this is the only R40 slant assigned to the C train. So it's like 1 in a million. Like, I know whenever I go to the Manhattan part of Customia, like, I always experience mad lag. But every other borough seems to be relatively fine, thankfully. It's just because I spawned so many trains in Manhattan when I made it. This is 34th Street, Penn Station. Transfers available to the A&E trains. See an R42 over there. Or an R40 mod, actually. This is a Bronx-bound C local train. The next stop on this train will be 42nd Street. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors, please. Now, here's what we were using initially for our R40s fleet. That's an R40 mod there. R68E train. Because as you can see, the R68s, the 2600 series R68s, dominate the E train in my world. You get a good view. I like this one. Let's go. This is 42nd Street, Port Authority Bus Terminal. What is that knocking? What the heck? $47.50 is next, stand clear. This is 47 50th Street's Inner Customia Terminal. Transfers available to the shuttle. Bronx bound C local, I think 55th Street is next. Don't quote me on it. Stand clear. This is 55th Street. Still hasn't loaded. Oop. I'm not surprised because we passed a very big terminal area. '59th is next, stand clear. Let's see if it loads now. Okay, so we have this part that loaded. It's probably loaded. Ladies and gentlemen, because of the map not loading, we are going at slow speeds. Alright, we finally loaded. Let us proceed. This is 59th Street, transferred to the A&E. Bronx bound, C local 66 is next. Stand clear. This is 66th Street. This is a Bronx-bound C train. The next stop will be 72nd Street. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors, please. This is 72nd Street. Transfers available to the 7 and 11 trains towards the rear of the platform. This is a Bronx-bound C train. 75th will be next. Stand clear. We got more loading problems. This should be 75th Street, but it's not loaded. Bronx-bound C, 81st is next. Stand clear. Wow, this is a long route. Alright, we loaded. 81st is next. Stand clear. Ladies and gentlemen, once we get to 81st Street, the E train will be diverging from us. 81st Street will be your last chance to get on the E train. You can also connect to the E train at 86th Street, 8th Avenue. This is 81st Street. Transfers available to the A and E trains. Last chance to transfer to the E train. '86th Street, 8th Avenue will be next. Last chance to transfer to the E train here at 81st. You can connect to it at 86 and 8. Alright, stand clear. This is 86th Street. Transfer to the E. '96th Street will be next. Bronx bound C. Step all the way in, stand clear. This is 96th Street. Transfers available to the A train. This is a Bronx-bound C train. The next stop will be 103rd Street. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors, please. This is 103rd Street. This is a Bronx-bound C local train. The next stop on this train will be 110th Street. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors, please. Also, a transfer is available to the G train if you walk from this station. Stand clear. I'm going to wait for this tunnel to load. This is taking the journey a lot longer than it should have taken, but the tunnel is being problematic. At least you get to see the G train, which will be underneath here. Oh, that's not even loading. Well, you get 105th Street, 9th Avenue over there. Okay, finally. Now we can lock in. This is 110th Street, also not loading. Wow. We're batting 100 for stations not loading right now. Geoff is stuck and is waiting new instructions. Yeah, because he's stuck behind a train at 125. And an overshoot. Wow. You can't make this up, baby. Man, you can't make this up. This is 110. Bronx bound C local train. Next stop will be 116. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors. Wow, nothing is loaded. This is 116. This is a Bronx-bound C local train. The next stop will be 125th. Step all the way in Stanford. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just wanted to make sure because I kept feeling like there was 12 cars and I don't know why. I gotta pause the game again. I gotta just wait for like 2 minutes and hope that everything just loads after this point. I just gotta wait. Because this is ridiculous. Y'all didn't even get to see 116th Street. This was 116. A nice looking station. Not too impressive, but still nice. We have to find a oh, there's our R244. See, look, and here's 125th. It hasn't even loaded. Look at it, look at it, look at it. Look at it. You see the open gangway nature of the 244E. You're not even supposed to see that. Alright, so I'm going to run it back. We're going back to 116. And we're going to figure this thing out. R244E rocking back and forth. Oh, maybe it just finished stopping. I don't know. That's weird. There we go. This is 116th Street. This is a Bronx-bound C local train. The next stop on this train will be 125th Street. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors, please. This is 125th Street. This is your last chance to transfer to the A train. That's basically an R40 of many types, or a train of many metals. This is a Bronx-bound C local train. The next stop on this train will be 135th Street. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors. Let me open the doors for this one. This is a Dykeman Street bound A Express train. The next stop will be 137th Street, where you can connect to the I train. Step all the way in, stand clear. Looks like my A train got stuck. That's crazy. We gotta run it back even more. What are we doing? What are we even doing at this point? How do you pass the signal at danger? Just drive somewhere, please. How long is he gonna wait for? Okay. Oh, my train got a... I can't move it, so we'll just manually drive it then. And stop. Why is he going the wrong way? Well, he's not my problem anymore. No. That was a disaster. Like, why'd he trip the signal for? I thought playing trains today was going to be a good idea. Please don't make me regret it. This is 135th Street, first solo station. The rest of the journey is us solo. And an overshoot. Alright. Lock in, KT. Lock in. This is a Bronx-bound C train. The next stop on this train will be 145th Street. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors, please. This is 145th Street. Not an overshoot because I'm right at the edge. It was actually a perfect stop. Some are saying it's even the perfect... No, I'm not going to do a Trump impression. Bronx bound C train. 157th is next. Step all the way in, stand clear. Because Customia is excruciatingly large, pause, like, it takes forever traversing through this borough of Manhattan and the expanded boroughs around it. This is 157th Street. Connection is available to the Interborough train upstairs. There's an R244E on the C train. Ooh, that's a nice stop there. How do I line this up? Nice. That's good. This is a Bronx-bound C train. The next stop on this train will be 168th Street. Step all the way in, stand clear of the closing doors, please. Ladies and gentlemen, this train will not be terminating at 168th Street. This train will be going into the Bronx to Bedford Park Boulevard. This is a service extension. Once again, this train will not be stopping its journey at 168th Street. Oh, this is 163rd, I'm sorry. The next stop is 168. Okay, so this is 163rd Street, Amsterdam Avenue. Or as the R211 announcements now say, just 163rd Street. This is a Bronx-bound C train. The next stop will be 168th Street for sure. Trust me, guys. Stand clear of the closing doors, please. Source? Trust me, bro. Only a few more stops left on this journey. I didn't realize how grueling local runs could be. Could you imagine when we start doing the expresses and the entire game refuses to load the stations? Oh, that's going to be a trip. This is 168th Street. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this train will be continuing into the Bronx. We will not be terminating here on 168th Street, as we sometimes do during off hours. We will be continuing the full journey into the Bronx. This is a Bronx-bound C train. The next stop on this train will be 175th Street. Step all the way and stand clear of the closing endorsements. We get a good front view. There we go. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, 175th Street, 8th Avenue will be next. Or 7th Avenue. It's either this one or the other. It might be 7th Avenue. Because I think we're on 8th Avenue still. Because the A train turned east, so it might be on 7th Avenue. I'm still getting the hang of my stops, so bear with me, please. Now you have the layup tracks up there. Yep. This is where the C trains will lay up during off hours. This is 175th Street. Transfers available to the A and I trains downstairs. The rest of the journey is outside. This is a Bronx-bound C train. Next stop on this train will be 5th Avenue. Step all the way in, stand clear. Okay, so this was 7th Avenue actually. 175th and 7th. This is 5th Avenue. Transfers available to the R&W. Bronx-bound C train is the last stop in Manhattan. Next stop will be 174th Street with a connection to the L network. Step in, stand clear. Ladies and gentlemen, backpacks and other large containers are subject to random search by KTA police due to a policy change. Thank you for riding with us and remain safe. Ladies and gentlemen, not only is it unlawful to ride between cars while the train is moving, it is also unsafe. Please exercise caution and have a safe trip. Ladies and gentlemen, soliciting money on the train is illegal and a waste of other people's time. Please do not do it. Instead, seek help from the government. Unlike the United States, we care about our citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, if you see someone at risk of falling onto the tracks, please get help immediately. This is 174th Street. Transfers available to the L network downstairs. This is a Bedford Park Boulevard bound C local train. The next stop is, I forgot it. Now, on the elevated networks, in order to make them look a little more pretty, I elected to space out the signals a considerable distance. That way you can see more scenery rather than seeing these ugly looking signals. No offense to the actual creators, I just mean the signals take up space. The signals are fantastic, but they take up space on real world elevateds. This is Euclid Avenue. Transfers available to the 2, 3, and 8 trains. I'm going to overshoot. Oh! One car overshoot. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not leave from the first door. The first door of the train has overshot the platform, so we need you to exit from the latter 3 doors of the first car and through the rest of the train if possible. This is a Bedford Park Boulevard bound C train. The next stop on this train will be 183rd Street, if I'm not mistaken. Step all the way in, stand clear, close the doors. And don't forget, if you need to, please connect to the 2, 3, and 8 trains downstairs. Stand clear. This is 183rd Street. It's still an overshoot, but at least the door is in the station this time. This is a Bedford Park Boulevard bound C train. The next stop on this train is 190. I thought we were taking the detour for a second. I'm glad we're not taking the detour. Passing through the 183rd Street yard, I think, or 190th Street yard. Not sure. You have the railroad passing right underneath. This is 190th Street. I apologize, guys, for crashing out towards the end of the street in terms of the overruns and all that nature. The next and last stop on this train is Bedford Park Boulevard. Step all the way in, stand clear, close the doors. we're curving around. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for riding with KTA Customia Transit. We are approaching Bedford Park Boulevard, our last stop. Please be sure to grab all your belongings with you as you leave the train. Thank you for riding with the KTA. At Bedford Park Boulevard, you will be able to transfer to the 9 local and 9 express trains, if you so choose to do. Here the layout track re-merges with the local tracks. This is Bedford Park Boulevard, last stop. This is the last stop on this train. Transfers available to the 9 local and 9 express trains. Connection is also available to the T local and T express trains downstairs. This is the last stop on this train. Thank you for riding KTA Customia Transit. If you wish to continue your journey, you may transfer to the 9 or T trains or stay on this train and return round trip. How'd I overshoot at a terminal? That's crazy. That's it, I'm crashing out. I'm crashing out in an R40 Slant. Who would have ever thought? This is the last stop on this train. Everyone please leave the train. Thank you for riding with the KTA Customia Transit. Last stop. I overshot the darn signal. I didn't overshoot the buffer because you can't do that. I overshot the signal. Yep, Bedford Park Boulevard. Let's see the 9. Here's the 9, right there. The station. Bedford Park Boulevard. The 9 Express comes on the center track, depending on the peak direction. That's Bedford Park Boulevard on the sea. I like this view. It's like you can see the shedding. Then you have the underground level for the T local and T express trains. T express arrives on the middle. T local arrives on the sides. That's it for this stream or recording, whatever. If you guys enjoyed, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you all for tuning in. I know NJTE has some new G2 moments that he's going to clip from this. But Bye-bye.